Hi, my name's Alex Katay and I'm Just a Guy Cooking. Welcome to episode 4. Today we're going to cook something that's actually pretty easy, pretty quick, and really tasty. We're going to do a carrot ginger soup. So let's get started. First off, I've got my pot that I'm going to use, and this right here is a duck stock. Now what I do is every time I roast a chicken, this time I roasted a duck, I'll take the leftover juices and the carcass and whatever meat and stuff's there, and I'll cook it down with onions and celery, different vegetables and stuff to build a stock, and then I'll freeze it and use it for things like this. So that was about 4 cups, and I save it in these little...
We all thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I know I measured it out and everything.
Faye and all housewives.
Oh yeah, right, okay, yeah. On a budget. So that was about 4 cups that I used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double that with water. So, and the reason why I'm using this is because this is actually what I stored the duck broth in. Old peanut butter jars are great for that kind of thing. So I'm just going to double that. And all of this is going to be basically depending on how much soup you actually want to make. So that's what I'm making today. It's not a whole big amount, but it's a nice portion if you're having people over for dinner. That's in there, and what I do have is I have some more duck stock that's off to the side, because whenever you cook a soup or a stew or a gravy or anything like that, the longer you cook it, the moisture is going to cook out of it, it's going to reduce down, so you might need to add some more moisture. So once this is all cooked together and the flavors are all rich, if you add water to it, you're going to thin out the flavors you've been building. So, but if you use more duck stock or chicken stock or whatever, vegetable stock, you can do this with a vegetable stock for if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. But if you use more stock, it doesn't take away from the flavors that you've been building up. So what I'm going to do, this is a carrot soup, but just to add depth of flavor, I'm going to put in some, and really you don't really have to make small pieces, because we're going to puree this later. I'm going to add some celery, and a little bit of onion. And the celery, nice thing about soups and stuff is if you have some vegetables or something that's getting a little bit sketchy, like that celery is starting to get a little bit soft, this onion's starting to get a little bit soft, they aren't bad. It's not something you might want to put on a burger. Let me take some of this off. Some of this has gotten brown, so I'm going to put some of this aside. And then you can use it in a soup because you're going to get the good flavor. So I'm just going to throw that in there. Since I cut, normally I would probably use just a half an onion, but since this one's a little bit older, I'm going to go ahead and use the whole thing since I'm cutting off parts of it. See, that side looks pretty good. There you go. So, waste not, want not, right?
Right.
So now I have a whole mess of carrots. How many carrots? I don't know. It's about a pound of carrots maybe. What you're going to do is you want, because you're going to reduce this down, is you want there to be maybe half again more liquid than there is actual vegetables, carrots, food, whatever it is you're making, whatever kind of soup you're making. And this recipe right here can be transferred to almost any kind of soup you want to do, really. So we're just going to cut off the ends. I already scrubbed them. I don't peel them, as I've said before, but I did scrub them with a vegetable scrubber.
No bleach, right?
No bleach. Yes, Dean did make a joke about using bleach or common or something like that. We don't use anything that could kill a person on our food.
No matter how much it needs to be sanitized.
No matter how much. So, and once again, because we're going to puree this and it's all going to be very soft, you don't really have to cut it into little pieces. You can, but you don't have to. So, I don't know what the weather's like in other parts of the country, but it is a beautiful day here in Southern California.
I think it's already 82.
It's like 82, it's sunny, I'm wearing shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. Not that I'm intentionally trying to make you Northeasterners and Midwesterners feel bad, it's just how we live out here. It's not a perfect place, but the weather sure is nice. So, almost done here. so that's our carrots. And that was actually that pound of carrots and that half of onion. Can you get that okay, Dean, or do I need to tilt it up?
Wait, yeah, tilt it up a little bit.
So that pound or so of carrots, maybe a couple pounds of carrots, an onion, and a bunch of celery.
Got it.
Still leaves plenty of liquid in there. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to season it, and I'm not going to use a whole lot of seasoning. I'm just going to use salt. I use a salt shaker because otherwise, that way it prevents me from over salting. So I just do, I don't know, salt.
No pinching?
No pinching. No, because I've tried pinching before, and I don't know, I just grab too much when I pinch. So, but salt generously, to your taste really. Pepper, now for me, I like even more pepper, so I'll use quite a, oh, that's ginger. Ha ha ha! That's ginger. So there's going to be ginger in it. So we're going to put a generous portion of ginger, maybe a teaspoon. Now, if you wanted to use fresh ginger, you could. The reason why I don't use fresh ginger is because I don't cook with ginger often enough to warrant buying it. It would just sit in my fridge and go bad, and that just seems wasteful, so I just use ground ginger. So I'm just using salt, pepper, and ground ginger. And then we're going to take it, put it on the stove. And we're going to put it on, I'm going to bring it to a boil. So I have it on relatively high heat, and then once it's up to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to a medium simmer. And we're just going to let it cook till it becomes probably reduced about half, maybe just a quarter to a half. We'll probably have to add some more broth as it's reducing down. And once everything is really, really, really soft, then we'll puree it and serve it up. This is a very, very easy dish we're making today. So while that's cooking though, I do have something I want to talk about today.
Oh. Do you want to mention where we were the other night before you go to Front Charlotte? Our big red carpet event?
Well, maybe I will when I was going to come up. I don't know why he interrupts me. I guess he just wants people to drink. This would be I think this is like a 2-shot smackdown for those of you who've been paying attention to our game. So anyway, actually, I know why he's interrupting because he doesn't want me to talk about what I'm going to talk about. Is what he's doing. So I actually have props today, I have papers. So I have some really, really great news to share with all of you. A week ago, last Saturday, which will be 2 weeks tomorrow, this is a Friday, was my 7th anniversary, mine and Michael's 7th anniversary, and we got engaged. So yay! So we are living in one of the 37 states where it's legal, so yay! So anyway, so we got engaged, we are very excited, we're planning the wedding. It's not going to be till next March. So, so we have plenty of time to plan. We've already been ring shopping. We're looking at venues, so it's very exciting. So anyway, a few days before, I think it was, just around the same time that we got engaged, here in sunny Southern California, out of Huntington Beach, which is like 20 minutes from where I am, an attorney named Matt McLaughlin, oh yes, we're naming names, named Matt McLaughlin, submitted a document to be considered as an initiative. We have an initiative system here, so anybody pretty much with $200 can submit a formal document to be considered by the voters to be turned into a California state law. That sounds good in theory, and I don't know, I've lived in a lot of other states, so the jury's still out for me. I haven't decided what I think of that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Stay focused. So anyway, so he came out with what he calls the Sodomite Suppression Act. And it's got only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it only has 7 points. They're very, very strong points. And I'm just going to read 2 of my favorites. Because it's just, well, I'm just going to read them and you decide what you think of them. So, point B is seeing that...
Now, this is verbatim, right? This
is verbatim. Oh, this is the actual thing. And this isn't a joke. This is really happening. If you've been keeping up with the news, you've probably heard about it. This is about 3 weeks old. So, seeing that it is better that offenders should die rather than that all of us should be killed by God's just wrath against us for the folly of tolerating wickedness in our midst, the people of California wisely command, in the fear of God, that any person who willingly touches another person of the same gender for purposes of sexual gratification be put to death by bullets to the head or by any other convenient method.
Got a rock?
That's neat and clean, I know, right? Got a raw, any other convenient method. I just think that was just clever how he wrote that. Clever, clever. So, and then there's other stuff about it has to be hung up in schools. I mean, he wants it in every school classroom. This act posted, and not to distribute sodomistic propaganda to minors. All sorts of different stuff. But this is my other favorite part. The state has an affirmative duty to defend and enforce this law as written. And every member of the public has standing to seek its enforcement and obtain reimbursement for all costs and attorney's fees in so doing. And further, should the state persist in inaction for over 1 year after due notice, the general public is empowered and deputized to execute all the provisions hereunder extrajudicially, immune from any charge and indemnified by the state against any and all liability. Which basically means if this law were to pass and the state wasn't willing to kill us, my neighbor could. Which I know it's not supposed to be funny, but it's just so, on one hand, it's so ridiculous, it's appalling. I have to laugh because that's kind of my sense of humor. On the other hand, it's really scary. It's really, really scary. And the backlash is, I mean, I have a lot of opinions about how this happened and whatever, but I don't, Matt McLaughlin, I don't really know you, so I'm not going to really judge you. I don't know
go ahead.
I don't know. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't know where you come. You know what? There's so many other people that
if the viewers want to judge, please do so in the comments.
No. That's not what my show's about, Dean.
All right.
We talked about this the other night. So anyway.
Is that another drink?
That's like a pint. So anyway, part of what I've always talked about is that I want to discuss things from maybe a different perspective. And you're going to get out there, if you're on Facebook or wherever you are on, you're going to get a lot of opposing views and people arguing and calling names and all that stuff. And so that's not what I really want to do. What I thought I'd do is I would go to the source for most Christians, which is the Bible. A little bit background on me. I was raised Jewish. I did spend some time as a born Christian in Christian circles. I've tried to change my sexuality. I mean, I've had quite a lot of experiences over the past almost 50 years. I've always been a person who loved God, loved the idea of God, been a spiritual seeker. That's always been a part of my path, and it still is to this day. So I've studied, I've come to some of my own conclusions about certain things. And I hate to take stuff out of context. I hate to take, because every time you read one scripture, I think there's another one that balances it out. There's, you know, and so many times that's what people do. They take one verse, one chapter, one verse, and they, you know, pin their thesis to it, and that's it. So I'm going to kind of do what I don't want to do today, but it's very specifically pointed to this, you know. So
you're boiling.
Not quite. I'm almost boiling.
Okay.
I'm almost boiling. So thank you, Dean. So well, let's talk about the food for a second, since it is almost boiling. So we are almost boiling. Ow, that's too hot for me to touch. So it's not quite a rolling boil yet, so I'm going to let it go for just a couple minutes. When it comes to a rolling boil, then I'm going to turn the fire down just a little bit. So if you were in a real hurry, you could cook this on just a high heat. It would cook faster. And it would, the difference in taste would be really, really subtle. But if you cook things a little bit more slowly, the flavors, in my opinion, tend to meld a little bit better, and they tend to be a little bit, the flavors are a little more heightened. That's my personal opinion. Whether or not it's true, who knows? We all cook our own ways. So anyway, so there it goes. So it's now on a rolling boil. So I'm going to take it down to not a low simmer, but just like a medium simmer. I want it to cook. And now it's just going to go until, and I'm not covering it because I want it to reduce. Some people might cover it because they think it keeps the flavors in there. Either way, do what you want. Some people will cover it and just leave a little bit out so a little bit of the steam can come out so it'll reduce, but most of the flavors will lock in. That's one of those things that I think it doesn't personally make a difference. So it's going to be very, very tasty just as is. So so we're going to let that go. It went down just, and I checked it, and the simmer is a little bit lower than I want, so I'm going to raise the flame up just a bit. So you want, I wish we could get this, because I can't pick it up, what this looks like. We got to figure out, we got a brand new tripod. So.
Oh, we want to thank Tuttle Camera so much for their great service.
Total Camera in Long Beach?
Tuttle Camera.
Tuttle Camera in Long Beach?
Yes.
Yes. For the, what kind of a tripod is it? Brand?
It's ProMaster 7100.
ProMaster 7100, that's our new tripod.
Yay.
Purchased at Tuttle Master in Long Beach. Tuttle.
Big improvement.
Tuttle Camera.
Yes.
Tuttle Camera in Long Beach. It's a big improvement. Dean's very, very happy.
Yeah.
So we'll get a shot of this in a little bit. So it looks like. And there you go. So anyway, so what I did was I picked a verse that makes me think of this, because he's basically, what he's saying is you know, if you're gay and you're acting on it, you should be shot in the head with bullets.
Does that include men and women? Because it sounds like he's focusing in on men.
No, same sex. Anyone who
right.
touches anyone's genitals for sexual gratification and they're of the same sex should be executed with bullets to the head or any other convenient method. So, so that made me kind of think, you know, the old adage, what would Jesus do? Because as Christians, you know, if we're Christian, we're supposed to be reflecting Jesus in the world. And I'm trying to think, so would Jesus choose to execute people with bullets to the head? I don't know. Let's see what it says here. So I picked just one verse, and it's like I said, it's just one verse. There's other things, there's other places I could go with this, but I'm not going to take that. This isn't a Bible show, it's a cooking show, so I'm not going to go there. So, but it says in Mark chapter 2, verses 15 through 17, while Jesus was having dinner at Levi's house, many tax collectors and sinners were eating with him and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. When the teachers of the law, who were Pharisees, saw him eating with the sinners and tax collectors, they asked his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" On hearing this, Jesus said to them, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Now, before we go any further, let's just make a little disclaimer here. I'm not saying that gays are sick or sinners or anything like that. I'm just taking this for what this is. You know, Jesus said that to the Pharisees. He didn't necessarily sit at the dinner table and say, "You people are a bunch of sick sinners," because I don't think that's really very loving. I think Jesus probably had a different approach. And I'm not questioning Christians' belief about homosexuality at all. I'm not questioning that at all. I'm just saying, how would Jesus treat gays in the world today? Because let's face it, we've kind of been labeled the big sinners by the Christian world for now. You know, we are today's tax collectors and sinners that the Bible was referring to. And Jesus would
in his eyes. What's his name? Mark? Matt?
No, I'm talking in the Bible's. Yeah, in the world's eyes. Look at how. No, in the world's eyes. I'm not saying that I believe it, but I'm saying that if you look at the news and if you look at the reaction, gays are today's, you know, tax collectors and sinners, you know, and prostitutes. We're sort of their target focus, and a lot of it has to do with the equal rights we're going. But you know, the evangelical or Catholic, I mean, the Christian community, the whole big umbrella, is really fighting our equality and their, you know, the sin labels and all that stuff. We are that for certain people, you know, and that's just, I think that's true. I think that's just the truth. So, if we look at it that way, what would Jesus do? Jesus would have dinner with us. Jesus would have a nice meal, open a bottle of wine, you know, relax, have a good time, you know. He wouldn't be shooting people in the head, you know. And that's my point. That's my point. I'm not here to argue about anyone's belief system. Because I do believe that in this country we have the right to our own belief system. What we don't have the right to do is deny other people their right to their belief system. So that's what I want to say. So, on that note, and since we are a cooking show, and since I believe that Jesus would have dinner with me, and I want to be a reflection of love in the world, I want to say to Matt McLaughlin, I would like to invite you to be a guest on one of my cooking shows. We'll cook a little, we'll have a little dinner, I would be happy to open a bottle of wine, but I suspect you probably don't drink. But you might, you know, a little fizzy water, your choice of beverage, you know. But come on, Matt, come and have a little cooking show with me. We'll fix your favorite meal if you want, or you can, I'll fix something that I like that you might like. So that's how I'm going to deal with this. I have my personal opinion about it. I think it's pretty obvious my personal opinion is I just got engaged to a man. So, so the argument that I'm in agreement or anything, you know, I think that's a futile argument. It's not real. But I'm going to reach out with love and say, Matt McLaughlin, if you want to come onto my cooking show and be maybe my very first guest cook, because I would love to have guest cooks one day, I would be open to that. And I promise that we will keep Dean calm. And behind the camera, we'll build a little box so he can't get out. So anyway, let's take a look. And yep, we're simmering really nicely. And we're just going to let this cook for a while until it's all soft and ready to be pureed. And then once it's ready to be pureed, we'll be ready to dish it up and eat it. So thank you for listening so far. We'll be back a little while later once this is done. Finish it up.
So how...
Okay, so we are back. We're almost done. I wanted to show you what's going on over here. So here we have the carrots have been cooking down. If you see, the broth has gotten thicker, and so we need a little bit more liquid to it. The carrots are softer, but they still have just a little bit of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? They push back just a little bit. They aren't really just really a smooth, like when I break them, it's not completely smooth, so I want to cook a little bit longer. But the broth is getting nice and thick.
Oh, it smells delicious.
It smells so good. So I'm going to add a little bit more broth to it. That's probably just like another cup. And I'm going to let it cook some more. It should be just maybe another 10-15 minutes. It's probably been cooking for about an hour, I would say, on this medium simmer. And it smells wonderful. The broth is starting to adopt some of the orange color from the carrots. It's so good. We actually took a taste of it. I took a taste of it a little earlier. I was a little heavy on the pepper and the ginger. It's spicy, which is fine for me. Might not be fine for you. So this added broth might help to dilute that out a little bit. Plus we're going to be finishing it with some cream, some sour cream. So I'll talk about that when we come back. So, hey, we're back and we are ready to finish our soup. So we've got it off the stove now, sitting right here. And we are ready to puree it. I'm going to be using my Cuisinart Smart Stick. So let me start on low and see what happens. Oops, let me go to high. There we go. And we're just going to puree this all. And you can see the orange color is really coming out. Normally I use a blender, but since this is only the second time I've used my Smart Stick, you might remember it being used. You might remember my Smart Stick being used in the first episode when I made the po' boys to make the gravy. So now I think it's just a little bit thick for my personal taste for soup. So I'm going to take the rest of my duck broth, which is like another cup, and add it in here. I should say my duck stock. There we go.
protective eye shields?
Well, maybe, but so far so good. I definitely should be wearing an apron, but...
Oh, did we get any comments on that?
Huh?
Did we get any comments?
No one's responded to apron or no apron, so. You know, all the crazy stuff that I actually say on this show, and all the crazy stuff that I actually say on this show, people are actually just responding to the food, so I guess that's a good thing. Everyone seems to really like it. They say it looks good. They want to try it. That looks really delicious.
Oh, looks wonderful.
Let me see if it's smooth enough. Oh my God, that's good. And it's spicy, but it's not too spicy. The ginger in it just adds this layer of heat. And then you have the sweetness from the carrots. Oh. So good. And it's pretty smooth. I just want to blend it. I'm just going to blend it a little bit more. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh my goodness, this is so delicious. Oh. And it's so hot. Ow. So, take this off here. There we go. Put that aside. All right, so let's dish it out.
Oh.
What's the matter, Dean? Are you getting blurry over there?
No.
Okay.
We're doing good, we're doing good.
So, get myself a little ladle. Oh my goodness, this is so nice. So we're just gonna, a couple spoonfuls here. And for me, I think pretty food tastes better. I mean, I like it to be pretty. So
Yeah.
I've got this really nice blue bowl, and see how it makes the orange from the carrot soup just pop? If you're having a nice dinner party or something, you want to try and do something nice like that if you can. You don't have to, but I like it.
Yes.
And then...
Get some help from your color consultant, right?
From my color consultant, yeah, exactly.
You're welcome.
All the great things are Dean's idea, in case you haven't figured that out. Drink! So now I'm going to use just a dollop of sour cream on the center. Now what you can do with carrot soup, sometimes people will put cream right into it, make a cream of carrot and ginger soup, but I'm not doing that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take a sour cream, and the reason why I'm using sour cream is because you've got the sweetness of the soup, okay? You've got the spice from the ginger, the sweetness of the carrots I mean, the spice of the ginger, and this is just going to add another layer. The tartness of the sour cream is going to add into all of that. So I'm just going to put that right in the center, like so. And then, to add one more fun little thing, I've got some fresh thyme here, and I just got this at the grocery store, and it's been rinsed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the leaves off the stems, just drag it off. I'm just going to decorate it with just a little bit of thyme there. Oops. Get that stem over there.
Oh, that looks wonderful.
And this also will add just another layer. Boom! Just like that. So here we have it, our carrot ginger soup. So let's have a little taste. Grab a little bit of the sour cream, a little bit of the soup. Oh, that is so good. The sour cream adds this richness and this texture to it that's just smooth. It's delicious. So that is my carrot ginger soup. I'm going to be eating a lot of this shortly. And Dean's going to be helping me out with it.
And I'll help.
And he'll help. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you make yourself some carrot and ginger soup. And just remember, this is a basic soup recipe that I use. You could replace the carrots with asparagus or celery or almost any vegetable. You could also use this basis. You throw in some potatoes and you know, some chicken or whatever. I mean, this is a basic start to any kind of soup dish. So be creative. If you don't like carrots, try something else. Okay. All right, so that is our carrot ginger soup for today. I hope you enjoy this episode of Just a Guy Cooking. My name once again is Alex Katay, and you can find us on Facebook, of course on our YouTube channel, and Twitter. Go to our YouTube channel if you aren't already there. Subscribe to our channel, like it, like the video, and share it with others. Also on our YouTube channel, we do have icons for Twitter and Facebook, so you can get directly linked to everything that we are, wherever we are. So follow us and try out a recipe and let me know how it comes out. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.